regular hats on. We have to put ourselves in the humanity. Just like I told you guys yesterday, we have to put ourselves in a family-oriented situation. Because what if Bria Hartley was your? I mean, we have to put ourselves in a situation of dealing with personal.
Fresh details continue emerging regarding the controversial incident between Bria Hartley and Sophie Cunningham during their recent matchup. The situation unfolded during the second quarter, approximately at the 8-minute 9-second mark, when Hartley made contact with Cunningham's knees in what many observers have described as a questionable play. The incident has gained significant attention online, with additional evidence surfacing that suggests Hartley may have taken satisfaction in the outcome of her actions against Cunningham. When examining such situations, it becomes important to consider the human element involved. These are real people with families, loved ones, and careers at stake. Whether examining women's basketball, football, or any competitive sport, the focus should remain on entertainment value rather than potentially career-threatening physical confrontations.
You have to put yourself in her parents' shoes, her sister's shoes, her cousin's shoes, and kind of, be emotional about this in a sense. Because what if Sophie Cunningham was your daughter, your niece, your aunt, your cousin? That's the way I look at these athletes, man. It could be women's basketball, it could be football, it could be anyone. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans living on this big blue rock together. And it's crazy that people was out here doing the vicious and violence.
Athletes dedicate years developing their skills, and dangerous plays can rob them of valuable playing time and opportunities. A photograph has recently circulated showing Hartley appearing to laugh following the collision with Cunningham. The image captures what appears to be amusement while Cunningham was experiencing pain from the contact. Initial skepticism about the photo's authenticity led to verification through game footage review, confirming the moment occurred as the play unfolded rapidly. The broadcast coverage seemed to quickly move past Cunningham's injury, with commentators appearing relatively unconcerned about her condition.
That people was out here doing the vicious and violence things that they're doing in sports, man. Instead of making the sport entertaining, they're making the sport physical and damn near possibly costing people good, valuable time in their career. Now, with that being said, we got to talk about the topic at hand, and that is this Bria Hartley photo that has since went viral. Somebody sent me this late last night, and this is the face of Bria Hartley, man, laughing. She's laughing after colliding with none other than Sophie.
Viewer reactions to the photograph have been mixed, with some calling it evidence of malicious intent, while others point to both players having reputations for aggressive play styles. Currently, no disciplinary measures have been announced by Commissioner Kathy Engelbert regarding Hartley's actions. Many observers feel this silence demonstrates a lack of concern for player safety, particularly regarding Indiana Fever personnel. Following the game, Coach Stephanie White addressed her team's resilience during challenging circumstances. She praised her players' character, describing them as good people who remain selfless and tough regardless of recognition received.
She's laughing after colliding with none other than Sophie Cunningham. Evil, vicious, malicious. Just my goodness, bro. Completely happy that Sophie Cunningham is hollering in pain right now. Look at this face. My goodness. Now, I thought this photo was fake. I literally had to go back, look at the game, rewatch the game to get to this part to actually see the camera angle when Sophie got hurt.
White emphasized how her roster members support each other through difficult periods, with every player contributing to victories whether they play extensively or not. She expressed gratitude for the group's continued belief and unity. Sophie Cunningham has responded to the incident through social media activity, specifically by sharing content posted by her sister regarding the situation. Her mother also voiced opinions, describing Hartley as a troubled player who has encountered difficulties throughout her career, characterizing her style as uncontrolled and overly aggressive. Family members and supporters have criticized league leadership for prioritizing fines against players who complain about officiating rather than protecting athlete safety.
The game to get to this part to actually see the camera angle when Sophie got hurt, and she was definitely jumping up and down before she actually hit the ground. it happened so fast. And what's crazy about the whole thing, when this happened, the camera like swayed back to the game and they didn't really care that Sophie got hurt. At least that's what I felt when it was coming from the commentators. I don't think they really cared that Sophie got hurt. But let's check out some of these comments, man. Somebody said evil. Somebody said those.
They highlight Hartley's history of problematic behavior as evidence supporting their concerns. Despite the severity of the incident, search results primarily show coverage of Cunningham's response and unrelated player interactions rather than substantive disciplinary discussions. Recent coverage has included Cunningham's comments about officiating standards during other games, where she expressed opinions about referee decisions favoring certain players. Paige Beckers, when asked to respond to Cunningham's officiating criticism, simply stated that everyone deserves to express their viewpoints. Additional social media posts from Cunningham showed friendly interactions with other players, suggesting professional relationships remain intact despite competitive tensions.
These comments, man. Somebody said evil. Somebody said those two players are the same. If we're being honest, people here defending Sophie, overlooking that she's also a troublemaker. I wouldn't say that. Nice catch by the photographer. Definitely nice catch. Piece of ish, should be suspended. Now, speaking of her being suspended about all of this, nothing has come out the pipeline from Kathy Engelbert in regards to any disciplinary actions coming down.
The situation highlights ongoing concerns about officiating consistency and player protection within the league. The absence of official response from league leadership has intensified discussions about whether current policies adequately address dangerous play and ensure athlete welfare. This incident represents another example of physical confrontations that overshadow the sport's competitive aspects. Without proper intervention, such situations risk becoming normalized, potentially encouraging similar behavior from other players who might believe aggressive tactics face no consequences. The basketball community continues monitoring whether league officials will address this situation or if it will join other controversial incidents that received minimal disciplinary attention.
On Bria Hartley, but as of right now, it's looking real damn spooky. I have to be honest, guys. I have to give you guys my honest opinion on this, and something has to be done, bruh. Something has to be done because this ain't right. This ain't right at all. Now, Stephanie White has been vocal about all of this. She stated this last night immediately after the game. Let's take a listen.
Player safety advocates argue that consistent enforcement of rules protecting athletes should take priority over maintaining competitive entertainment value. Recent social media activity suggests family members and supporters plan to maintain pressure on league leadership until appropriate action occurs. The situation demonstrates how individual incidents can spark broader conversations about sports culture and the responsibility organizations bear for participant safety. Game footage continues circulating online, allowing viewers to form independent conclusions about the play's intent and aftermath. The widespread discussion reflects growing concern among fans about distinguishing between competitive intensity and potentially dangerous conduct during professional sporting events.
Again, let's take a listen.
First and foremost, they're good human beings. You know, they're selfless, they're tough, they don't care who gets the credit, they don't care whose day it is. They got something inside of them that you just can't teach. And, you know, they bring it out of each other. And it allows us to.
Kelsey Mitchell delivered an extraordinary performance in recent competition, showcasing one of the finest individual efforts of her professional career. The display highlighted the significant differences between Mitchell operating as a primary scoring option versus functioning within a complementary role alongside other talented players. When Mitchell serves as the main offensive focal point, team success becomes heavily dependent on her shooting accuracy. This dynamic resembles situations where franchises experience victories and defeats based primarily on one player's performance. However, when Mitchell plays alongside other star talents, her efficiency typically improves due to increased spacing and reduced defensive pressure.
Give you, say, 9 points, or she'll give you an efficient 15, and they'll win the game. And that's the difference between like a first option and a main scorer. is that, like, for example, like Caitlin Clark, who is the first option in that team, or Aaliyah Boston, who should be the first option, realistically, when Caitlin's gone, is like their scoring isn't everything. It's like if they're not scoring well, they facilitate for others. And that's not just getting high assist numbers. They play make for others. They make sure the offense is taken. They make sure.
The distinction between primary scorers and facilitating players becomes evident when comparing different player types. True floor generals maintain offensive flow regardless of their personal shooting struggles, ensuring teammates receive quality scoring opportunities. These players prioritize team success over individual statistics, making adjustments when their shots aren't falling. Mitchell's approach differs significantly. When experiencing shooting difficulties, she tends to continue attempting shots rather than shifting focus to other aspects of the game. This mentality can result in games where her performance single-handedly determines outcomes, both positively and negatively.
And that's not just getting high assist numbers. They play make for others. They make sure the offense is taken. They make sure that other players are getting theirs. Like if Kelsey Mitchell's not playing well, she's going to shoot her way out of it. Whereas if like an Aaliyah or a Caitlin aren't playing well and Kelsey's playing well, they're going to make sure Kelsey gets that ball. So that's just my opinion where it goes to the kind of in the hierarchy of the Fever. For me, their best player is Caitlin Clark when she's healthy. When she's not healthy, their best player is Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell is just a gunner, and she might be the best in the league at that. If you guys agree or disagree, subscribe. We're trying to hit 56.75K by the end of the day.
Recent social media activity has sparked discussions about player recognition and appreciation. Comments from family members of other players have drawn attention, particularly those appearing to praise Mitchell while potentially taking subtle shots at other team members. One notable pattern involves selective praise that seems designed more to diminish certain players rather than genuinely celebrate Mitchell's accomplishments. These comments often emerge specifically when Mitchell performs well, suggesting ulterior motives beyond simple appreciation for her skills. The timing of such praise raises questions about authenticity, especially when coming from individuals who rarely acknowledge Mitchell's contributions during other successful performances.
We're trying to hit 56.75K by the end of the day. But every time Kelsey Mitchell has a good game, and this is one of those things where people are like, oh, why do fans of Caitlin Clark not want to see Kelsey Mitchell succeed? Because this shit happens. Because this happens. You've got AZ Fudd's dad, and this is like, you can tell AZ Fudd's dad's literally in the as we call Hatelin space. As in, they will only cheer Kelsey Mitchell if it's to spite Caitlin Clark.
This selective recognition pattern has become increasingly apparent over recent seasons. Mitchell's 8-year professional career includes extended periods where she served as the primary option for struggling teams. During those seasons, her individual scoring prowess was evident, but team success remained elusive. The dynamic changed significantly when additional talent joined the roster, creating better spacing and reducing defensive attention on Mitchell. The transformation in Mitchell's efficiency coincides with improved team performance and playoff appearances.
As in, they will only cheer Kelsey Mitchell if it's to spite Caitlin Clark. And anyone in the Caitlin vicinity, as in, you know what, like, you'll cheer certain players to spite Caitlin, or if there's a player that's, you know, a little bit closer to Caitlin Clark, they're fair game too. So the first tweet, we'll talk about this one a little bit later, but out of nowhere, I don't know what Hull did or said to Mabry, because Mabry is killing and talking that talks. Like, that's Marina Mabry. Lexi Hull did a good job on Marina Mabry. Marina Mabry just hit circus shots. But like,
having complementary players allows Mitchell to operate more effectively, taking better shots and contributing to winning basketball rather than individual statistics on losing teams. Critics argue that Mitchell's recent recognition stems primarily from increased team visibility rather than any dramatic improvement in her individual abilities. The arrival of other high-profile players brought additional media attention to the franchise, creating more opportunities for Mitchell's skills to be showcased on larger stages. Statistical analysis supports the argument that Mitchell performs more efficiently when not shouldering primary offensive responsibilities. Her shooting percentages, decision-making, and overall impact improve when operating within a balanced offensive system rather than as the sole scoring threat.
Marina Mabry just hit circus shots. But like, he has literally not tweeted about Lexi Hull in his life other than to shit talk Lexi Hull here. And then this is my favorite tweet. This is my favorite tweet in general that we've seen over the last few days. It's absolutely amazing at what Kelsey Mitchell's doing with the Fever. I've said it for the last 2 seasons, but people have chosen to overlook her prolific scoring ability as if it's not top-notch. Kelsey Mitchell has been a prolific scorer for 8 seasons. Kelsey Mitchell was a tank commander for 6 seasons. Like, there is a prolific...
The debate surrounding player recognition reflects broader tensions within basketball analysis. Some observers believe certain players receive disproportionate credit or criticism based on team circumstances rather than individual contributions. Others argue that context matters significantly when evaluating player performance and career trajectories. Mitchell's ability to score prolifically remains undisputed, but questions persist about her optimal role within successful team structures.
Mitchell was a tank commander for 6 seasons. Like, there is a prolific one-dimensional scorers who need, like, prolific one-dimensional scorers who over-dribble, which is, in fairness, at times what Kelsey Mitchell is. There's good Kelsey, there's bad Kelsey. I thought yesterday was what the best case scenario for bad Kelsey. As in, I don't mean that she's playing bad. I mean, when it comes to Kelsey Mitchell, when she's overshooting the ball, when she's over-dribbling the ball, when she's trying to will a team to a win, more often.
Her skill set appears best suited for situations where she can leverage her scoring ability without carrying complete offensive responsibility. The discussion extends beyond individual performance to team-building philosophy and roster construction. Organizations must balance individual talent with complementary skill sets to maximize overall effectiveness. Mitchell's career trajectory illustrates how player roles can evolve based on surrounding talent and team needs.
When she's trying to will a team to a win, more often than not, she'll shoot a team out of a game and shoot a team into a game. It's the Seattle Jewel Lloyd effect. It's the Arike effect. But we've all said it with Arike. When Arike is on, she can win you a game by herself. Ryan Howard's very similar. When Ryan Howard's off, she can lose you a game by herself. And same with Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell being off in the first half was the reason we were down 21 points. Kelsey Mitchell being on is the reason we won the game. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, but as much as her scoring is consistent, she can be much more.
Recent performances have reignited debates about player rankings and recognition within professional women's basketball. Mitchell's scoring ability places her among elite guards, but her overall impact varies significantly depending on team context and role definition. Social media commentary from player families occasionally creates additional storylines that overshadow on-court performance. These situations highlight the challenge of separating individual achievements from broader narrative discussions within basketball coverage.
As much as her scoring is consistent, she can be much more efficient and score at much more efficient times. It was unbelievable in OT. I give her credit where credit's due there. But nobody has overlooked it the past 2 seasons. By the way, the past 2 seasons, what has changed for the Indiana Fever the past 2 seasons? They're now expected to win because they have Caitlin Clark. That's what's changed. That's what's changed. And being like, you know what, oh, she's been overlooked the past 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons have been the best 2 seasons of Kelsey Mitchell's career. Why? Because in general,
the relationship between individual excellence and team success remains complex, particularly when evaluating players who excel in specific areas while potentially lacking well-rounded skill sets. Mitchell's case study provides insight into how specialized talents can be maximized within appropriate team structures. Looking ahead, questions remain about sustainable success models and the roles different player types should occupy within championship-caliber teams. Mitchell's evolution from primary option on struggling teams to complementary star on successful squads offers valuable lessons for team building and player development strategies.